The Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's The Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, we're back with you. I am tickled to death. We have got the only female member of Waylon Jennings, not to mention she has worked with Kris Kristofferson, Willie Nelson, James Taylor, Miss Carter Robertson. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Stephen. It's good to be with you, too.
Yeah, I guarantee it. You've had to put up with a lot of old crusty men over the years. I mean, with the playing with Waymore Outlaws and then playing with the only female member of Waylon Jennings. How was that?
You know what? It was interesting. I grew up real fast, I guess. I thought I was tough when I joined, and then I learned what it meant. But in seriousness, they were great. You know, they were real gentlemen, and I think I'd been there, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks out on the road, and Richie Albright, Waylon's drummer,
right,
named me Mama Carter. So even though I was the youngest one in the band, I was still Mama Carter, and I'm still Mama Carter to this day, because somebody's got to look out for those crazy old boys. I
know that's right, and I know we just lost Richie, man. I know that was very sad.
Very sad. Hard. It's still tough. Just hard to believe he's not here, you know, but he is in some ways. So.
Oh yeah, we still listen to them drum beats on them songs, but then you actually started playing with Jessi Colter before you went in to play with Waylon, right? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I started working with Jess in 1975. And she had a huge hit called "I'm Not Lisa," and it was crossing over, all over the place where most country artists had never gone before. And so, her producer was Ken Mansfield,
right? And
we were working in a band on Capitol Records, and that Ken was producing. And so, he liked the way Barny, my husband, and I worked together and liked our sound, and so he thought we would be a good fit for Jess. So we went in and started recording with her in 1975, did all her recording, her debut at the Santa Monica Civic, and then, anytime there was a midnight special or something like that, we'd do that. Mm-hmm. So it's real exciting.
But now you and Barny, you all actually played together before Jessi Colter. How did that all happen?
Yeah, Barn and I, we were working with a band called Gary Hill. Barny and I got together. I was in Hollywood. Here's a little sidestep. I was actually in a band that was a group that was opening for a faith healer, a very famous faith healer. So you can imagine where my brain was.
Oh, I'm with you.
And we needed a keyboard player, and Barny was recommended. And so he turned us down, because who wants to do that? But he got hungry after Christmas, and our tour started in January, and he accepted the gig. And you know what? We really hit it off. I think, from the first time I met him, I went, yep. I was all in this weird, had to be all hairsprayed up and all that kind of stuff. And he walked in with his pilot's glasses and hair down to his shoulders and Levi's, and I went, I'm in love.
Well, he is cute.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He is a good-looking feller.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was rock and roll, and that's where I wanted to do something more on the edge, but I was under contract, so it was a little weird. But so we started. We moved in together and figured out we could make more money if we both played the gig, and so that's how we ended up in the Gary Hill band. Mm-hmm.
So now, when did Jessi Colter? How did that fall into play?
Well, that was when Ken was producing Gary Hill and all of us, then he thought we'd be a good fit, and so he introduced us to Jess and to Waylon, and we started, playing her on her albums and live gigs and stuff like that. Whenever we were in L.A. at the time, and so whenever she came to L.A., that's when we started working with her.
I actually read her book, and she actually thanks you and Barny in her book. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love her. She's one of my best friends, and I'm so proud of her. She's, I can't say enough good about Jessi Colter. She's awesome, and she loved Waylon like nobody else, and he loved her like nobody else. And so that's a real powerful story there.
Yeah, that's a good book too. It's a good book to read, and she's a very spiritual person.
Very spiritual, yeah. And it's funny because her mama was a preacher, a Pentecostal preacher, and my mom was a Pentecostal lay preacher. So we had a lot in common. We really did.
Oh, Lord.
Even though, that wasn't really the life I was living, but we had a lot to talk about at the time. So, and to this day, we have grown a lot, both of us, and we just really love to share that part of our story together.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I love the Pentecostal singing. I mean, you can't get no better.
Yeah.
But now I can skip.
No, sir.
The preaching's just a little bit long for us Baptists. We like about a 15-minute. We're done.
I completely get it.
Yeah.
I know, man. I slept on so many pews and was tired when I'd go to school, but you know what? It wasn't bad. Met some wonderful people and met some not so wonderful people, but that's kind of the way it is wherever you go. So.
Yeah. Well, at least you had a good foundation, to kind of keep you stirred straight. And
Absolutely.
Now
I'm grateful.
The Waylon years, I mean, Waylon was a rock star and still is today. And when you look back on that, do you just think, wow, me and Barny, we must just been the luckiest people in the world.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, we were so young, and I was really young and naive in a lot of ways. But, we were pursuing a career of our own in L.A., and I was getting into a record contract and all that kind of stuff. And Waylon asked us to sing on the Are You Ready for the Country album and in L.A. And so we said yes, and then he asked us to go out on the road with him, and we didn't really want to. We didn't want to burn a bridge, but Barny'd done a ton of road work by then. He just wanted to be in town. So we went home, and he asked us, and we said, well, let us think about it. And so we went home and came up with what we needed, thinking no way he would go for it. And we went back to the studio the next day and said, man, we'd really like to accept this is what we need. And he goes, okay, good, I'll have the office send you a ticket. And that was the Outlaw tour.
Right.
And, we just weren't aware, honestly, aware of just how we were changing the whole face of country music, what a revolution it was. We knew it was really, really special. That we knew, but we didn't know exactly how powerful until we started selling out arenas. It's like you'd be in a certain venue, medium-sized venue, and then less than a year later, you're selling out the arena, and it was insane. I was like, get on board or get off, because it was a fast-moving train. So, and I got to say this one thing, there's a lot of music that comes and goes, a lot of bands that come and go.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason I think that Waylon stuck around and his music hits home is that the band and all of us, we were all family and continue to be family to this day. And that's not always the case. So I think that really played into his music.
But, y'all were with, like Kris Kristofferson to me is one of the greatest singers, I mean, not singers, but songwriters in the world. Right. And then, like Willie, you see what he's done. Now, you've actually worked with Kris Kristofferson, it says, right? Well,
yeah, actually I sang background on a couple of, in the studio a few times with Kris, yeah.
Right.
So that was really an honor. It was a real privilege and a real honor. Jessi's the one that set that up. And, of course, Kris would come out with us every once in a while when we were out on the road. I was real shy, so a lot of times when those icons would show up on the bus, I would either, slink back into a corner or go find someplace else to be because I was pretty shy. But yeah, they amazing people, and grateful that I had the opportunity to work with them.
Yeah, I just the thing nowadays everybody's got phones and videos, and it's just that era you just kind of have to go by memory. And
right.
Yeah, I just think some of the stuff that with the Waymore Outlaws out, and I've been with Richie and Fred and all them. I've got a couple of cool videos of them setting their set list up and stuff like that, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
They're
awesome.
great guys. I love those guys so much. They're my family.
So now, talking about your family, how long have you and Barny y'all been married?
Oh gosh, I always mess this up, and usually it's not the wife that does that, but I do. So we've actually been married 47 years. We've been together even longer than that, but we've been married 47 years. So it doesn't seem like that's even possible.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It's been a good run.
Great. He's a great guy. He is. I mean, I can't say enough really good things about Barny. He's a really good man, and I'm glad that we're together.
Yeah, good deal. But now you got 3 beautiful daughters that's grown with grandkids too going on now.
We do. We have 3 daughters that were they were with Toby Keith's label for about I don't remember how many years, but then they decided to get off the road and get married and start families, and now we have 8 grandchildren, all under the age of 9.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy that a whole lot. You've been out on the road. The romance of being on the road and actually being out there is completely different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was funny because we both really enjoyed it, but we didn't think that we would last. We were just going to go out for that one tour, that ended up being the Outlaw Tour, and then it was like, 5 years later, and then we all got back together again at the end of Waylon's time here. And so it ended up being a lifetime friendship and, opportunity to make music together. So, yeah, pretty powerful stuff.
Now, you and Barny, y'all are still making music. You still do stuff?
Yeah, still do. I still do. We... when the exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame, Outlaws and Armadillos, came in, we were contacted and asked if we would consider doing a little show there from time to time as almost like a residency kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And we said, sure. So we do a thing there. It's basically tours that come in, and then they have them. That's part of the tour is that they can see a show. And so Barny and I, it's just Barn and I, and we tell stories, and we sing some of the songs that we did back then. We even ask people, hey, have you got, sort of stump the band kind of thing, which they're very successful at. We try to remember as much as we can, but it's actually been really cool. So we do that. Barnes doing it's actually kind of like an R&B thing right now, or it's maybe a little more rock for a client, and we have a studio here, so he does that, and I help out with backgrounds from time to time, and had a show that I did for a while, and that was fun too. So,
well, I'm glad you're keeping busy, and I always love that y'all put the videos up on Facebook. I always love to hear the different versions of the Waylon songs. You always put a little twist to them, which is
yeah. Well, you're working too, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
I enjoy your music tremendously. I think you're really, really good, man. And I've enjoyed singing on a couple of your things.
Well, I sure do appreciate it. If I look more like Brad Pitt instead of Jack Nicholson, I think I'd have a better opportunity.
Hey, we love radio, right?
There you go. I'm with you on that. I guarantee it. I like back in the day when the musicians was ugly and the music was good, but that's all changed.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyway.
I love it.
But I appreciate you taking your time out. Now, if somebody wanted to follow you and keep up with you, you got the website? Is it running? Or?
Yeah, we do. It's CarterRobertson.com. You can follow me on Facebook. My artist page is Carter Robertson. Those are probably really good. And you could also, I've got the book Playin On the Tracks that I wrote that's a memoir, and it has all of the years with Waylon, which is always fun, kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's on Amazon. And there's all kinds of, I think we did a film, and so that's out there as well. I think you can get all of that on Amazon.
Oh, there you go.
Just Google Carter Robertson, I'm sure something would come up.
Well, I'm gonna have to read the book. I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't read the book, but I'm gonna read the book.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, it's fun.
Yep.
It's fun. It took me a long time. I wasn't going to write it for everybody. I was just writing it for my girls because I wanted them to understand where they come from. But then, some friends encouraged me to write about the Waylon years as well, so I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, I like the stuff behind the music. It's so interesting to me. I mean, not the telltale or all that nonsense, but I like to hear.
No, this is not it.
Yeah, I like to hear all that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, Jessi was really sweet. She wrote some stuff in there, and some folks, who read the book. So this is family, and so it was quite a deal. I enjoyed writing it.
All right, girl. We have got to get to a break. I sure do appreciate your time.
Hey, it's my honor. My honor. Thanks for the invitation. You have a good one.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.